Melania, hey,
Hello, Jeff.
thanks for doing this. How we doing?
Of course, it's been awesome. Like it's truly incredible. The only word I could say is it's been insane and I'm beyond happy to just be where I am right now because it's been a journey and it's been only growing from where it was.
And let's guys, Melania is amazing and she's got so much to share today. Your story is really cool. So we're gonna dig in and let's take it from the beginning. So you're let's start like a couple years back where
Hmm.
you're young, you're a youngin. So you're
Oh
not
yeah, I'm a
that.
baby. I'm young.
So let's talk. Let's even go back to where fitness started to be part of your life. I know you
Hmm.
started things more in strength training and bodybuilding. I want to talk about that. So let's go as far back as you think makes sense.
As far back as really like diving in 4 years ago, I would say over 4 years ago, just getting into the gym, into weightlifting, into strength training, and like fitness became a passion. Like fitness, just training myself, training my body, doing it all myself, and building out my physique. Like starting on the basis of that, like your own personal fitness journey. You learn, you grow. You learn so much about yourself and expanding over just little by little, starting to share on social media, growing a little bit on social media little by little. It was just like something that I always loved sharing. I always loved like commenting, creating videos, doing like I loved the social media aspect. So I started building a social media like fitness page, we could say. And years by years I just started like getting more into it, but I never really I shared like all the strength training, the workouts, like leg days, what I eat in a day, like all the gym stuff that you always see. I was always sharing. I was always growing. I was hopping on some trends and here and forth, and I decided to get into a bodybuilding show because I was super into full gym. It was all strength training. We decided to get into a bodybuilding show. I at this time was only in weightlifting, and I was one in general a way different lifestyle, a way different physique, a way different mentality. Everything was like a full 180 from where I am right now. So it was just consistently strength training, and I decided to give my first bodybuilding a show. So we did that, and that was one thing that really made me learn so much about myself and what I want to do with my life. As in, one, bodybuilding is not what I want to do. That's one thing I learned. And the kind of lifestyle that I was living then is not something that I want to be living, and live that kind of like really repetitive restrictive lifestyle, which for me personally, that was my opinion. To all the bodybuilders out there, like it is really hard and I give all credit to, but that's not the kind of lifestyle I wanted to chase and continue living for my life. And that's when a little bit, as during my even prep for my show and before my prep, I started getting into Pilates, which was also becoming a little bit of a trend years ago. And little by little, I was already going into some classes as I was in prep, but it wasn't all in. I was just going maybe once a week, maybe even like once every 2 weeks, just because I was so focused on weightlifting. And I realized as I was getting deeper into my show day that bodybuilding is not for me, and the kind of lifestyle it wasn't for me, as well as what I was sharing, as well as the nutrition aspect, the weightlifting aspect of only being stuck in the gym and only weightlifting. And I was, as a female, I didn't want to be in this cycle of just bulking, cutting, and like being into these different kinds of physiques and so forth. And I wasn't overall happy with my physique. So after my bodybuilding show, we competed. Like the day after my show, it was a full 180 switch, as in like my full lifestyle changed, my full mentality changed on how I
Can I
wanted
ask you a
to
quick
move.
question there, if you don't mind, though?
Go ahead.
Because I do think to totally understand what you're saying with the bodybuilding, but at the same time, I feel like you learning that skill and building that foundation was was um was probably was probably really helpful. So maybe touch upon
It
like
was.
you learn. I think the thing about bodybuilding, again, to be totally fair, I love the sport, is you really learn how to build muscle. You really learn how to eat well,
Mhm.
and like I guess if you were to do it over again, I don't want to lead a horse to water there. Would you say that it's that knowledge to some extent is invaluable? But how do you feel about it?
I 100% never regret doing the show. it has set me to where I am. And one, as a person, it made me learn so much about myself, and exactly like how I mentioned what I want to do. One, I had the full like building aspect of, one, you learn so much about your body, you learn so much about your own discipline, your own self, about like what your body can handle, what your body can look like so much that you learn about yourself. So overall, I would do like, if I was still like 1 year ago, 2 years ago, I would still 100% do that show because of how much I learned about myself, and it made me realize how I actually want to continue on with my life. Because some people could fall in love with the journey of the cutting and bulking and continuously putting on muscle and then losing fat. Like, you could absolutely fall in love with that. For me personally, it was just I wanted to live a different kind of lifestyle. So that's what I learned for myself, and that's what I took away from the bodybuilding show of, I wanted to be able to maintain and kind of live at a maintenance of doing all different kinds of trainings, which we'll get into as well.
You took that and you took quite the quads with you, I would say.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a very learning experience, and I'm very happy of how it came out. And overall, like, the shows were awesome. I placed first, and everything was like incredible. So there's no like negative feedback on competing. I think it was incredible. I think like if there is a decision that a person would want to go for it, because you learn so much about the process, about yourself, about everything.
And and then before you made that adjustment, how many followers, social media followers, did you say you had at that time?
When I was in bodybuilding prep, I remember being on social media, on TikTok specifically, it was about 150,000 when I was on TikTok. And I specifically remember this because I was only sharing like the classic leg day, like the classic bodybuilder leg day, 5 quad routines, my protein shake, like my chicken and rice. That was my kind of feed. And I never really shared a lot of my personality, which we'll get into, which is the reason of growing.
Got it. And so then you didn't have much of an Instagram at that time. You were really learning and just following trends and doing things on TikTok.
Yeah. It was just honestly following trends, which again is a reason why you didn't see that community.
Got it. And then, yeah, keep going. So bodybuilding, you learn a tremendous amount from it. You have your show.
We
You're like,
did
this
the
isn't for me.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then right after the show, that's when I got a little bit more into different kind of styles of training. And overall, my lifestyle really, I still to this day, like, weightlifting, strength training is a huge factor in my life. Still, going right after this call as well, going strength training. It's a big, big, big aspect, but I started not wanting to only stick in the gym because it was so just gym, 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 gym. There was absolutely no other movements of my life. It was only focusing on building that muscle and absolutely nothing else. So I started incorporating mat Pilates, reformer Pilates, yoga, a lot of more stretching, a lot of more working on my mobility, a lot of just being more outdoors, and walking was a big thing, just like moving my body differently outside of the gym aspect. With that, I started posting a little bit more gym reviews. I started posting like Pilates reviews because it was a trending topic of like in my area of like Pilates and so forth. Like, we were expanding in Pilates overall. So I was doing some reviews, and I had come across this one heated yoga studio, which also taught like a mix of like, it was called like a strong class, which is like incorporating some weights, an incorporation of, I would say, like mat Pilates, strength training, lift, whatever you want to call it. Every class is something different. But I did a class there, I did a review, and I randomly just got I never intentionally like ever wanted to ever thought of becoming an instructor in fitness. I always loved fitness. I always was in it for so long. I also always helped people with fitness, but I never thought of ever like going into the instructing thing. But I got the opportunity presented to me, and it was just one text message from the studio, and it was like, "Hey, do you want to instruct?" And I was like, "Sure, let's just go for it." And it was honestly so out of nowhere that I was like, why don't I just it's like an opportunity that was presented, and like, what's the worst could happen? Just go in and go do it. And it was that simple. It was like that same day, got a text message, and then it was like the next week I started instructing. After I started teaching, it was my first class teaching, and I
That's almost like
absolutely,
a signal from the universe there.
that's
Like,
what I was. That's what I was kind of. It's like it really was a signal, and it really was a sign to just honestly go for it. I did my first class, and I've always been like, my own personality was always to like, it's very to lead, to instruct, to guide. That's my kind of personality. It's very like a strong personality. And I did my first class, and I honestly like fell in love with just teaching and guiding a class and leading a community together. It started off with being like, I think it was my first class, maybe like 8 people in my class, and it was a late night class that was never on the schedule. And I recorded my first ever class, and it was just a video of me saying, like, POV, it's my first time teaching a class. I set it up. The video did good. It was a good video. And it was kind of like, I got like great feedback on that video. It wasn't like a crazy viral video, but it was a good video. And from that moment, every single class I taught, I recorded every class before I went in. I always said, like, POV, I'm your mat instructor, POV, I'm your mat Pilates instructor, whatever it was. And I would set up my camera, and I would record the movements of me instructing and me teaching. Again, my personality is really, really loud and like aggressive. And my teaching style was like, you see my face, you don't expect what my legs look like, but my legs are pretty jacked and I have big quads. So you see my face and I look super girly, and then it's like me in a classroom, like leading a group of soldiers, and so intense and so loud and not what people would expect. So this was building, and I made this overall these videos were going like beyond viral, but one really hit off to, I think it was like 50 million views on my TikTok, and that was just incredible. It was just a video of me saying, POV, I'm your mat Pilates instructor, and a clip of me like screaming, "Don't be weak," and like pushing my legs out. And you see my quads, you see me screaming, you see everyone in the back, like everyone's dripping, drenched, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, like this girl is insane!" And like my quads, my physiques, everything. So I built this huge community from like sharing that kind of aspect, because there's so many different kinds of movements. Obviously, right now I don't call it anymore mat Pilates. It's my signature Sculpt style of training, which I've come across, which is like a different combination of mat Pilates, strength training, so forth. But overall, that really hit off, and everyone was booking up my classes like a month in advance, like 2 weeks in advance. Waitlist was like waitlist 20. Like my waitlist for my classes was packed up. I was teaching twice a week at that time. People were driving 4 hours to my classes. People were flying over to South Florida to take my classes. And that's how popular it was. It became crazy. And keep in mind, this was all from like the one video, the first class ever that I made. And after that, it was just like I was just posting like every other time I went in, twice a week. It was a class of me teaching. And it was honestly from that 1 month, like 1 month, that's when it just exploded. My first month of instructing, that's when my first video really hit 50 million. And I really think that the reason it hit 50 million was obviously because I really shared, like, that is my teaching style. That is my instructing style. That's really my personality. And it hit off, which people obviously were loving taking my classes, but they wanted to train with me online. And this is where Playbook comes in.
And
And
can
honest,
we pause actually right there if you don't mind?
pause.
That's really good. And I was just thinking about this because we upload this to YouTube. Would it be cool if you tried doing your film horizontal? Just thinking about that.
Film this
Um, does it rotate?
this way.
Or maybe, yeah, I guess it doesn't rotate. That's fine. We can,
Do it like this, or do I do it the other way?
no, that's good. Go back the way you were.
Okay.
It looked good. It looks great.
Perfect.
I was thinking about that because
Okay.
it's okay. Um, I can make it. They'll go in. They're going to go in and scrub this.
Yeah, you'll cut it. Cut.
The, so let's talk about that for a second. So you're, you make this transition. And the thing about you, which I love, is yeah, you bring it. And
The
I
energy is
saw yeah,
crazy.
I saw your first video. I'm like, oh my God, I love this girl. And I'm like, I gotta get in there. And you really feel it. You really do. Did you know you always had it in you? Was that something that you kind of found in yourself as you started doing this?
I
Or like, yeah.
I always like I again how I mentioned, like my personality is very strong, like as just a human being, like very like lead guide, loud. That's always been me. And like even growing up when I was very into like into acting, into theater and so forth. So it was very like I love to just I would love to like present, to like share, to lead, to guide, to just be on stage. Like that's what I love to do. I love to be able to do that. So I always have like this, when you know you have this fire in you, you absolutely know. And I've always known, but it was when I was in more so my bodybuilding aspect, it never came out in a way. And when I was presented to lead and to guide and to teach a classroom, it like something like about me that's like you would see me at like a coffee shop and you would never expect that. But then the moment I'm in the class, the moment I turn my playlist on, the moment I'm like presented and it's like it hits that time, like this different version literally comes out of me. And like this, it's like that 45-minute class, whatever it is, like I give it my absolute all. And it's like even me like looking back, like for today I was looking back at some old videos of me instructing and I'm like, is that me? Like it is so like a different side of me comes out that like that loves to lead and love to guide, like that it's always been in me, but it comes out like always a different side of you always comes out in a different environment. And that was where my true self like really flourishes and really comes out.
And that makes and then was there ever, let's say there's someone who wants to, I'm sure there's leading people, coaching like that, building the comfort to do it is, it's such a good feeling. And let's say there's someone who is aspiring to do that one day. Was there any second guessing that you had, or were you just, I'm going to go whole hog into this? Did you any second guessing on yourself? Like, what was the psychology there? I think people would be interested in understanding.
No second guessing. It was more so of how did I want to make these people feel? Because as instructors, and then we could get deeper into this, is like at the end of the day, flat forward, not everyone is meant to be an instructor, but it's how you want to lead and guide a class and what do you want your class to walk out feeling. So everyone, it's not necessarily you don't have to teach my kind of style, my kind of way, or the way it's like shouting or being more loud, being more motivating. Maybe you don't want your class to feel like that or walking it. Maybe you want your class to be able to feel like more calm or like a different kind of way. It's all we're all different individuals and we all can teach, instruct and share differently. But to me there was like there is no doubts in my head and I'm not a person to ever like back down or like be scared of my personality or hide my true like true self. And it's really when I'm presented in that way I was just like go be me because it's like the music is on, the energy is on. I'm a type of person, it's like the energy, I create high energy and that brings people together. So it's like that's what I loved doing because high that's what my classes are about. It's like high energy creates energy. And I bring that energy every single time, even if I was walking into a class like having a bad day, like a huge headache. I even made a video of this. I was like, I was walking in with like the biggest headache. And after class, it was I've had the best energy and the best mood ever. Like I gave it my 100% all and I walked out feeling amazing. So there was never any doubts. Even though some people could say like some people did hate my classes and I was too intense. But to me, it's like you know that as an instructor, not you're not going to please everyone. And I was never any doubts. Just did me.
I love it. I love it so much. I I genuinely believe that which is why I appreciate you so much. The world is very passive, and the world needs like healthy intensity. It really does.
Hmm.
And I think the popularity of and everything that's happened to you over X period of time is just the data point on that, where it's like men and women especially are like, I need some energy and some goddamn intensity in my life.
You
And
need that kind of intensity because it's like
yeah,
so many are so like in a way, there's so many people that are just like in their comfort zone and so soft. It's like you need to break out of that and like I am 100% going to break you out of that. Like there is in my class when like especially like not just how we'll get into like online and then teaching, but it's like you need to break these people. So many people are settled and are in their comfort zone or like so comfortable in fitness or in their lives or anything. It's like you're going to be that person to help people break out of that zone, break out of get them to that intense level.
I love it. I love it. All right, so let's keep going. That's great. So let's keep going with the story. So you're on and how long ago was this? This is so
TikTok,
everyone
I would
knows.
say, this would probably be maybe 5 months ago, I would say.
So your
Five
last 12
months.
months, so everyone knows, have been like pretty bananas.
Hmm?
Your like last 12 months of your life, so
Oh
just to
yeah,
frame
no,
this, have
like
been like
full, like
pretty
it
bananas.
hasn't even been, I would say, like, because I competed not even 1 year ago today. So I
Hmm.
would say the past 6 months, it's been 6 months since it like completely like life like turned all around. Because I competed last year of September. So it's not even September. So it's like it's almost going to be a year of my full show and where I started transitioning a little bit. But like when I started like all of this like posting and doing and instructing, that was I would say maybe like 5.5 months ago ish. So we started crushing on TikTok, reaching so many people, and one of the obviously the number one comments were like, this isn't Pilates, also, which is one thing. As in, my quads are crazy. Like, I'm leading a group of soldiers. Like, their Pilates, they thought it was easy. They thought this was easy. They never expected this. But then another really requested comment was, how do I do this online? Or how do I do this? Like, how do I train with you? And because right now I was only available in one studio. And again, it was never for me like, damn, like I'm an instructor now. Like I did never like came to my head, but I was like, how do I actually reach people from all around the world? And that became after seeing that comment and obviously my family seeing my dad seeing who's super close to me, and it was became a goal of not becoming like obviously my classes were all waitlisted and like being super busy, everything was people were coming in, it was amazing. But instead of just reaching people in my studio, it was my new goal became to reach everyone around the entire world from anytime, anywhere. And I made that my goal to become not the instructor in my area or in like known to be in my thing, but to be like the instructor around anytime, anywhere. So people could turn on the screen and train with me and like get that same intensity, the same energy. Like if you look at me video screaming at you, it is the same intensity online, as in pushing you past your comfort zone, like completely making like your legs, your calves give out, and like all that, like me yelling at you, screaming at you, pushing at you. It's the same thing. So overall, I was like, I need to do something online. And I remember one time, like I heard about Playbook and I got the opportunity presented over months ago, but that was presented to me when I was in bodybuilding and I didn't have a community then. And it was nothing for me. Like honestly knew at that time, I was like, I'm honestly not going to have anyone in there. Like I'm just no reason to. But I remember hearing Playbook and I went back into it and I started researching like on myself and I saw Playbook and I created it on my own, which I never even knew which one was the very easy to do. And it was honestly, I did it all by myself and I just created my own. It was my own like program, my own like my own subscription, which I built it up by myself. And it was something that I did like in one day, in 24 hours. Like I found it and that's how easy it was for me to be able to do. I did it so simple, no team, no cameraman, no nothing. Like I was in the same studio, I took whatever I had, I filmed exactly how I would do in my class. I was by myself in the studio, grabbed my dumbbells, grabbed my band, grabbed my block. I filmed it for 45 minutes and I was like, okay, I need to post this. And obviously there's YouTube, but I wanted to create my own app. I was like, this is where I'm going to be able to create a community and build this. And I posted my first ever video on Playbook. I created my own subscription on there, and it was called Strength X Pilates by Melania, because that's what it was. It was Strength X Pilates. So I started building out there. I created my own subscription, and I uploaded one video on there. And the subscription was like day like first sculpt video, second sculpt video, and every other day it just kept I kept building in and flushing into there. And I started like leading people, the millions of people that were in my TikTok, I started funneling them into Playbook. I added Playbook in my link tree and people were getting into that subscription. It was going awesome. Like it was building. My videos were crushing it. All the videos that I was posting, all the POV I'm your instructor, they kept blowing up. And it was like every single time they kept blowing up. Like I found my hook, I found like my format video that funneled people, and it was awesome. And we were building on there and the feedback was incredible on the training. People were like, I literally doing your videos from anytime, anywhere. People are like saying that their legs are falling off, like their muscles are completely shaking, like they're crushing these workouts. With that, I built it out myself, so it was absolutely nothing fancy compared to where we are now in today's day. And it was just me. And I realized then, because of how popular it got and because of how much I wanted to expand and do so much more, that I wanted a team. And then so I did a little bit more digging deeper to see if I could have a team, or if how we could take the next steps to make this a little bit more professional looking, add a little bit more categories to like actually make this look presentable, because at this point I literally just had like a photo of me in the mirror and all it said was strength x Pilates, and it was like, I don't even know. Like it did not look that legit to me, but it was like the workouts were people like getting people in there. But it was growing. I wanted it to look a lot better. So that's where I reached out to Playbook and I got in contact with Jeff, and we started talking about just one expanding in general, like how fast everything happened, which I remember telling you, like you seeing like being one in shock of how like quickly everything happened within like me posting like my first subscription, like my being available. It was just growing like so fast, like skyrocketing. The first week, the first like 2 days, like it was growing so fast, and I was like, we need to take this up. And I don't know if you want to say anything, but that's, I remember getting on that first call, and that was the start of starting to grow even further.
So let's take. So you're this is all in it. Yeah. So to frame this for everybody. So all this is everything we're talking about right now is in the last year, and then
The
so
last
you
6 months, we could say.
and really in the last 6 months. So you did bodybuilding for a couple of years. So I'll just do the summary there. So you did bodybuilding
Hmm.
for a couple of years. Um, you do a show less than just about a year ago, and then you transition into this new format, studio-based teaching. You're posting on TikTok. You got up to a couple $100,000, a couple 100,000 followers on TikTok, and then you switch to this new format. You really become, I'd say, to some extent, a new person. Like looking at the old you and someone new. It's like
Yeah.
you had a pretty
Like
unbelievable,
unrecognizably different.
yeah, you had a pretty unreal transformation in that short time period. And then when did you start posting on Instagram?
I was always active on Instagram, but it wasn't, I always thought Instagram as like some of this like business catalog. Like I wouldn't post the same things on TikTok on Instagram. So TikTok, I was like, TikTok was, I mean, Instagram was very, very slow for me. Like TikTok was obviously, as I was growing on TikTok, I was growing a little bit more on Instagram, but I wasn't posting that same content on Instagram, which right now I'm doing, which is crushing. Like my Instagram right now is growing at a rate faster than my TikTok right now. But I started posting. It was always growing. It was always a little bit steady, but I was never super consistent with my Instagram.
Got it. So Instagram's taken off, TikTok's taken off, and then you start your app experience, and yeah, you I remember again getting the text or the email and being like, hey, she's doing what with that? Um,
I was like in pure. I was like, this literally looks like to be honest, like clicking the link and like going to everything, like the way I set it up, like it was literally like I had all the typos in there. Like people were like DMing me like all the typos. Like I did this so like this was done like I did this by myself. Like started on scratch by myself and like brought up these numbers, brought up these subscribers, and I was like, damn, like if I did this by myself, like imagine what we could do with a like full team and like having like this really put together. Like I needed to get into that.
yeah, yeah, and then I remember seeing that and then saying, all right, I gotta talk to her just across all those fronts. Um, and I started watching your videos and I'm like, ooh, she's bringing the heat. I love it. Like
Hmm.
this is good stuff. Um, and then I'd say that brings us. Let's talk. There's a couple things I want to go on from there, but where that brings us today. So your goal right now, which I love, is like you're very clear. You have a passion. You're driven. You have this vision to touch folks, and then your social media is continuing to grow. So what I'd love to talk about is isolate, like, hey, what are you doing on social media? Let's just talk about the last year. If you just take a year ago from Instagram, how many followers did you have 1 year ago on Instagram to today?
On right now, we just passed surpassed 500,000. I would say I don't remember a year ago, but it was honestly less than probably less than 100,000. And but for my TikTok, I know for sure it was a year ago, it was 150. And by the time it was, I'm pretty sure it was in April. In April I remember specifically in April I hit 200. At the end of April it was 250,000, because I had written, when I was in Costa Rica, I had written in the sand 250K. And by my flight home it was like maybe I think like 300,000, which was like literally in like 2 days, like a day. And it was like, I specifically remember in April, at the end of April it was 250, and now we're at over 780,000. 780,000. So we're coming up to a million on TikTok, which is unreal to say, because it's just like, wow. I literally remember being at 150 and 250 back in April, which was not that long ago.
Let's say someone wants to have that type of growth that you've had. What are you, what are you doing inside? What kind of content are you creating? What are you doing in your content? So just high level of what you're sharing. That's be question one. Question two would be if you were to give advice to somebody, they wanted to go that fast, but step one, let's start with what are you just posting that's you think driving that growth and what do you think's connecting so much?
Right now, it's honestly, well, the most popular videos, obviously the ones that were like 50 million, 30 million, all those videos that were going crazy. I kind of found my hook and my format. So I was again experimenting with so much content prior, like so many things that were just not hitting, and never sharing my true personality, never really even speaking to the camera, which we'll get into. Like, I am speaking in probably every other video of my page, like straight to the camera. And well, comes into number two, as in the biggest tip, but like getting like speaking to your community, really, not just looking like a just a screen and just showing yourself, but I really touched my community, and I made my community feel, the reason like I was able to reach more people is because I made them feel like they were literally with me. Like they were looking at my screen and they felt like they were in that workout class. They physically felt like they were put down right there. And even the comments were like, they're like, damn, I'm already sweating just watching this. Like, they felt like they were in me. They felt like they were talking to me. They felt like they were feeling me. Like, I was so present. Like they were my best friends. And I was sharing a lot of my personality. And that's the one difference that I did compared to where I was last year. I really shared my personality, and I shared like exactly my kind of format. And my format was a very like girly clip of me in the beginning, and it was a POV. I'm your Pilates instructor, and it's a very like feminine, just like a very girly thing because people expect it. And then it's like the next clip, it's like, bam, me absolutely screaming, me absolutely yelling. It's like me screaming at you to not be weak, like pulse it out, putting my like doing every single kind of movement, like dripping, like sweating. You see all my muscles, you see everything, and those are the videos that caught so much attention. And that was my kind of format that started like really, it was like every time I did that, that was my kind of format. So one, like really finding like your kind of, that's what I was known for like my kind of hook, and finding your format, which goes into like number two, as in the best like advice that I really could give is like not just being like sharing like your physique, or just sharing you behind the scenes, or sharing you like your workout, but really connecting with your community and your audience, and making it feel like they're there with you, like you're on a FaceTime call and they're in the class with you, or they're in the workout with you. And it's like, make them feel a certain way, like exactly how I was saying to other instructors. How do you want your class to feel? How do you want the people on the screen to feel? So it was more so like really finally sharing my personality, and that was what really caught people. And I really really talked to the camera, and now it's like I'm constantly sharing like my story and storytelling, which goes into a big thing. It's like not just making it just all about you, but like sharing a kind of story, which people like love to people. Social media is a huge thing on storytelling. People don't just want to see like straight photos, straight videos, and like a nice trending audio. They want to be able to feel a kind of emotion, and they want to feel humanizing. And that's what my content gave. It's really giving that humanizing factor. And that's really one thing, especially in the fitness industry, I feel a lot of people lack on. It's they think that it's all just about the fitness aspect, when that's one thing, the biggest thing I learned, one of the biggest things I learned as becoming an instructor is fitness is so much more than fitness. It is about the emotional connections, and it's about the humanizing, like humanizing the thing, because it's not just about my 45-minute workout, but being able to connect, to talk with people, hang out with people, give some kind of emotion. You want people to feel an emotion. You don't people just want, it's not just about the fitness. Fitness is one part of the equation. You need to give that feeling, you need to give that emotion, that humanizing aspect that makes your class unforgettable. And same goes with social media. Not just about the content, but you want people to actually feel a certain feeling and feel like they are your best friends.
I love it. And then you said you posted a certain type of content before where you weren't putting yourself out there as much. Was that for people, for some, let's say there's a girl who's listening who is like, I'd love to be where Melania is one day. Is there an element where you were just like, I didn't really realize I kind of had that ability, or was it I was kind of like afraid to do it, or I just really wasn't aware of it? What do you think the revelation was? Or, a lot of people that work with their creators are coming up are just they're not comfortable talking on camera. They're a little afraid to
Hmm.
do it. Totally understand, could understand why. Was there an element of that, and you kind of gradually chipped that away, and you kind of unlocked the skill to do that? But what was that bridge, that proverbial bridge, so to speak, that you crossed from kind of the old way you used to do it to the new way? And was it knowing? Was it a level of
It
comfort? Like,
was
what was it? Yeah.
it was kind of, I remember when I was in the bodybuilding aspect, my I was like one just trying to grow on. I made it a big goal like years ago to grow on social media. I always This was a big goal of mine for years, but it was just very slowly graduate, very slowly. And I remember my dad telling me when I was in bodybuilding, like, Melania, you have to talk to the camera. You have to talk to the camera. And like you have to either go live, you have to just get comfortable, even if it's like the stupidest videos of me talking to the camera, like just get comfortable and posting. But I was never so as comfortable as I am now talking to the camera, because I think like that wasn't when I was talking about and sharing myself in like the bodybuilding aspect where I wasn't my truest self, which again, it comes into you and finding exactly how you feel the most comfortable in. Like when I was in like a year ago and I was making that kind of content, and like I never really shared my true personality. Like it was like the me very just like the opposite. Like the way you see me now and like the way I've like flourished now and shine now and share my personality, my energy, I would have never seen that Milani 1 year ago. Like I was really just locked into as in that gym aspect of myself, and I never let that true me come out. I was so limited in that little thing that I think that is the reason like I couldn't, like I never flourished, I never spoke very confidently on camera. I did, but looking back at 1 year ago, I was like, that is so not me. Like it doesn't even sound like me. It doesn't even look like me. So coming into something, that an environment that I'm very comfortable in now, that's when I'm able to flourish and share like my true self.
It is one of the things that we love to teach the most is the foundation that, one of our big pillars in coaching is the foundation is you. And you are like the epitome of it to the greatest extent, which is within a year, like looking at you, looking at your pictures, going back to your social, I'm like, yo, this girl just completely found herself, changed her life, just became like unleashed herself. Like what a effing transformation over 12 months in so many ways.
Mhm.
And I think that's so inspiring to people that it's like your life can change. I mean, your life has changed. And I mean, I'm sure you're just like,
Mhm.
holy shit, to some extent. Your life has changed drastically in 12 months. And there's things that led up to it. You had a lot of dedication where you were putting in the reps in social media. Like you said, you were testing things were working, things weren't
Mhm.
working. You had a lot of repetition in your fitness. You're taking your fitness seriously. So those things definitely are a foundation that led up to it. But yeah, what you've created over the years, like is
It's
unbelievable.
been
It's
crazy.
so
Like it's
awesome.
the kind of thing of how fast everything was happening. Like it takes years for some people to make that transformation and make that switch. The like how fast it all happened. Like I'm still like, dude, like that's a transformation that takes actually like some people years, but of how fast it all happened, it impresses me still to this day. Like every day I'm like, damn, that happened. Like I look back at photos of myself, I'm like, that was only like that was 5 months ago. Like that was like wow.
It's awesome. Um, I get, yeah, I love everything. I love everything that you have going on. I love the energy so much. I love what you're giving to people. I think it is a rare rare thing today is to really take giving energy to other people serious business. Um, and I don't want to plug Playbook, but in terms of your offer, so you started with this experience where you started selling a $30 a month, some 30 mid $30 a month
34.
subscription, $34 a month subscription, and you'd one category, and then yeah, and then you got in touch with us, and like like be as transparent or as honest as you want. But how has that experience been for you? Are your customers really enjoying it? Like how's that experience been for you?
I will be so honest when I say this because I remember being so iffy to make the switch from going to myself to going into a team and so forth. I have absolutely nothing but the most positive feedback to give and credit to Playbook and the team that is with me. One, we could just talk about getting my own team because I've always been the type of person to be like building it out myself, doing it all myself. But like when you have millions of people demanding things, like you put an aspect like, okay, you need a team, you need some help, and it's just nice to have some guidance, nice some people to have someone to have meetings to talk with that understand the social media aspect. And that's exactly who Jeff set me up with. One, like the connection with Jeff, like being able to speak with the CEO is like that's one thing I really respected, as in like being able to one Jeff give his time, like the CEO, to speak to another like creator and who is on Playbook. That means a lot to me to see that like Playbook really cares about who is on their app, and that like showed a big difference. And then Jeff connected me to Calabera, which is like in charge of my everything, and she has been truly incredible. Like when I remember Jeff telling me like the team of the doubts that I was having of like coming into like giving full access and being able to upgrade to everything was like Jeff was saying like you'll see within like the first month like how much it is worth it. And I remember him telling me that, and I was like, now, like even before this meeting, I was like, you are so right. Like, and I talk about this almost every day of like after I get off a call with Calabera or after we discuss some ideas, some topics or like new categories, or I got my website in review and I'm like, dude, I could have not done this by myself. And I'm like sitting there smiling with Calabera and we're like, this is so insane. Like the website, the team, the feedback that I'm getting from the people, the new categories that we're doing, like every idea that we would have is just it gets built out. We like it's like the kind of team where you sit and you talk with the person and they like expand your mind. And that was it with Playbook, like talking with Jeff, talking with Calabera just made my mind grow into so much things, like not limited, like to the different possibilities of I want to be the biggest like online fitness instructor, sculpt instructor. Like there is no possibilities. I'm going all into this app, and I want to reach people. Again, my goal is to reach from anytime, anywhere, absolutely everyone around the world. And truly they are making it like that possibility happen. Like to have the team, the support to create all these categories, it's been incredible of just like taking my dreams to a reality, like exactly how we labeled it. My slogan is like pulse it out and don't be weak, and like the strength x Pilates, but we came up with the pulse effect, which is we've been building out my website, and it is truly the most beautiful website I have ever seen in my life. And it truly speaks like me. Like it's a website that you've seen, it is really me. And it's like a kind of thing like where again I'm so with emotion and with storytelling. It's like you can look at a website, you can look at a certain photo, and it really speaks to you. And it really does. Like the programming, the categories, my trainings in general, the website, exactly how everything is built out, it really speaks to you and it tells a story. So just having right now, we've been building it out. It's not officially out like my full on website, but just having our weekly meetings, which means so much to me because being able to talk to someone and like give you so many ideas, like Melania, hey, hop on this trend, do this, pushes you as in like, let's do this beginner. She gave me the idea, you guys gave me the idea to do like beginner sculpts, get into nutrition, get into all the extra things, like which I don't even know if like how I could have actually done myself. So be able to have a team, that's what made everything possible. And it's just been like now every time we get on a call, I'm just like Caliber is like, oh, we need to hit this amount of subscribers. We're gonna hit this. It's like always pushing me, challenging me, like we're always growing, we're always expanding. And every time I get off a call, every time we finish off a conversation, I just feel like Jeff was right. Like the team is so worth it. Like the team is incredible. The feedback, the help, it's all worth it.
That was quite the plug.
It was. It's like I'm letting you know it's worth it because I'm a person where it's like I always try to do everything myself. And like for those of you who are super independent and like I've been super independent. I've started if I like I started by myself. So it's like, do I really need a team? And it's like, yeah. Especially with the you like you could the amount like you can literally create like your dream app, the dream categories, the dream everything, like to expand so much and to have someone like to help you with these categories and like look at you and say, "Oh, I think you would do super well in this," and help like really stretch your mind, stretch your thoughts, your idea. Like it's great.
Thanks for that. Yeah. That's good.
Thanks for all the feedback.
No, that was no, thanks for that. But no, you're it's really, I mean, one of the you work with a lot of amazing creators, but there are, what is the best way to say this? Like it's it's very cool to see when you came in the door and then talking to you where it gets really exciting. Being in my seat is there's you can feel people who really want to impact others and like just have a passion for it. And I'm like, oh my God, she's got it. Like,
And I
and
remember you saying that on our first ever call.
yeah. Oh, I could feel it. I could feel it. I mean, you could feel it in your
Hmm.
content, but yeah, you're it's a privilege to work with folks who are like really pushing and really trying and really and there's a lot of people putting out workout content, but to like to be a driver of energy and to like your point, it's like people got to feel something. I want to impact lives. I want people to feel different, not just put out a video is it's
Hmm.
awesome. It's so awesome.
That's what I
Yeah.
really, it's like a really big takeaway. It's instead of like being a fitness instructor, being anything, it's like not just the workout could be great. You could be giving the best workout ever. But it's like, do they feel like they're looking or listening or watching a robot where it's just like no emotion? Because like we're all humans. You want to be humanizing. And that's what really stuck my training and my online content too. It's like really connecting with my people and giving that humanizing aspect, not just the fitness, but the emotion and the connection with the people.
So good. So to wrap this up, I'm beyond excited to see where things go, and it's going to be an amazing ride. Um, if you had to say, this last year's been I think the takeaway I give to anyone is like you can if you go all in on yourself and you really believe in yourself, you are a perfect manifestation of like your life can change fast. Like
Mm-hmm.
your life changed fast. I think that's an amazing takeaway. Or you just went all in on this vision that you found for yourself that you felt. And I think that text message is a really cool story of someone just randomly texts you want to be an
Yeah.
instructor and like you're just like fuck it, I'll try it. Like that's
Uh-huh.
that's that's wild. That like that's how it worked out that way and it spawned this. Um, so there, I mean, there's such a profound lesson in that. And then you would say what you've learned this over this last year, if you had someone who was wanting to emulate your success, is there any other words of wisdom you would part with?
Really just like sharing your true personality because I feel so many of us behind the screen are not really who we are. And I feel like we've all been there. I feel like we've all been in certain situations, whether it's on the screen, whether it's in an environment, in a classroom, in a gym, like not really being yourself. And like, when it's not yourself. And when it's finding that environment where you can really flourish and share yourself and you can experiment. Like, there is no rush. Like I did not flourish in that aspect and in that environment of my life. So try different environments. Whether that being like environments or like different friendships or different people that you're around where you can really be yourself. Like when you're around this one like family member or friend where you can really be yourself. So whether it's like on social media, anywhere you are, like find it where you can really share your true personality and not worry about looking at like how this instructor is or how this expert is and looking what's working for them because you're never ever going to be them. And that's one thing in that like you see the different instructors being so popular and trying to copy paste it. yeah, you could copy paste it for like an X amount of months, but then you can't continue copying that on. It's you stand out by sharing yourself and your personality, and that's what makes it different and unforgettable. And like just being like that true humanizing element, so an element, so people can really be like, damn, like this person isn't just sharing workouts, like they really get me, they really understand me, and like it's like you could be their best friend.
So let me ask one final question off that, which is a lot of people have limiting beliefs and yeah, they don't believe in themselves. They have these doubts, these skepticism. They also there's critics on social. I think a lot of people would be really curious of is two kind of a two-part question. There's number one is there a doubt that comes in your mind, and then if so, how do you handle it? Like you're clearly like a very maybe that's from the theater background of practice, but
Mhm.
you definitely have something where any doubt you would have, you bust through it pretty fast, just given how fast things change. But do those doubts creep in? What? Let me stop there, and then like, do you have doubts on things? Do you have limiting beliefs? Does your mind kind of see those things, and then how do you handle them?
The only the only doubts, I really don't have that many doubts, but the only doubts is like if to make sure that I am just doing enough for my community. That's really like that's been my only doubt, and now it's just been like just trying to give my all to my community. Like as in myself, I don't have that many doubts, and I really just know that it's like those doubts aren't real. Like you make your doubts real if it's like you decide to make them real. Like if you're gonna believe that like you suck, then you're gonna suck. If you believe you can't do it, then you're not gonna be able to do it. But if you really see yourself like I saw myself like I will be the instructor around the entire world. And you will make that your belief. Like your thoughts become your reality, and that's why I think I don't have doubts. And that's like made me learn a little something about myself. Like the reason I don't have doubts is because your thoughts are your reality, and I'm very big on speaking very positively to myself. Even if how I could have messed up so many times, I could have done so many different things. Every morning or anytime, it's like I speak very positively. I set my intentions. I speak to myself. I tell myself who I am, who I'm going to be, and then no, those doubts don't. Even if they come in, it's like I shut them out because it's like I know who I am. I know who I'm going to chase. I know who I'm going to become. So it's like that's why I don't struggle with doubts.
Where did you get that from?
Where I get what from?
Your framework for your setting your intentions. Is that something you learned over time, or is
Over
it some?
time, I would say, like because I am a person who is super hard on myself, and like I feel like we are all our own like worst critics, and being like super negative on ourselves and so forth, and like very limiting belief of ourselves. But it's like really because it's true because seeing that really fast transformation, it was my thoughts that became my reality. And to be honest, like even if it's like you don't believe it sometimes, like you have to be a little bit delusional. Like I never thought I would be where I am now, and like I was like I have like I'm gonna be the biggest like this and that, like I'm gonna be the best instructor here, like I'm gonna grow so much on social media even though I was never growing. But I in my head I was like, no, I am going to be like that person on social media. I am going to be that instructor. I am going to reach like these many millions of people. Like people are going to watch me. And it's really speaking into reality. And I that's one thing I truly believe in is like you speak and think into your reality. And it is so true because look at where I am now. So
Let's let's go. Very last, like that is so good. So excited for you. Then the very last one is like, so with all this new attention, because a lot of creators struggle with this, with all this new attention, there's tremendous amount of positives, and I don't ever mean to harp on the negatives, but it's just your skill for dealing with it is probably so helpful for other people to hear. There's always going to be the negative comments and the things.
mhm.
How do you deal with that?
There is a lot of, if I'm one person to say about negative comments, it is me. Like I will be that person. And even Calibera was like, the negative comments on this post, you want to keep this post up? And I was like I am the person to get these negative comments. Like people reach out to me like asking like, are you okay? Like these like my parents, my dad sits like defending me in these comments. Like I genuinely do not like me personally, like I my mind really flushes them out, and I know it's hard to say, but like it's really like people are always going to say a comment, and it's regardless, like even no matter what you're doing, even when I was that 1 year ago where I am now, people are always going to have an opinion. But you chose this and you signed up for this. If this is your career path to be on social media, remember that you decided to get all eyes on you. You decided this, so it's like you're gonna get these opinions unless you want to like turn off your comments. But like I decided, like I'm always gonna get this feedback. But no matter how much negative there is, there's always the people to have your back. And to me, the good always outweighs the bad, no matter what. No matter how much, like there is literally like millions of negative comments like all scattered throughout my pages, but it's like I genuinely I just that one good comment makes up for 1,000. Like that one true good comment, which you're always gonna have, like it really makes up to it. And I never let like the other bad comments. It's like no matter where I am, I just think like if I was this, if I was that, people are always gonna say something. So just continue regardless because you're always gonna hear
You got me. You got me. I'm more fired up from this call of
it.
the energy bleeds through. You are so awesome. I'm so excited to see your continued rise and where everything goes. But this has been awesome. We're definitely gonna do this again.
And check
But
up because obviously how I mentioned to you, like as in we're so far into the app, I just told Jeff like built out my own content studio to go full in into like obviously I remember the full call like having with Jeff and Jeff was like you really have to be full in on this. Like you really have to be and I'm like, "Oh, don't worry. I am full in." Like I left teaching. I don't even teach anymore at any studios because of how focused I am on my app and I am full all in and now it's been like it's just it really only is going up from here and now having my own content facility where I can do so much more for my community and give so much more value. So these are going to be kind of check-ins where it's like every month where we're just like continuously adding on and growing.
yeah, it's gonna be an exciting ride. But you are awesome. Keep that energy coming for all of us.
Of
And
course.
we're gonna do this again soon. But thank you so much for your time today.
Of course.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye bye.
All right.